Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. Farming is consistently classified as one of the most dangerous jobs in the U.S.
This has adjustments so you can move the handle side to side and up and down.
In a moment, we'll learn how the USDA and UVM Extension are partnering with health and wellness professionals across the country to instruct farm managers to train their employees more like athletes than hired help. First, a couple of weeks ago, I talked with an organizer for the Vermont Dairy Producers Conference. At the conference, which took place last month, awards were handed out for the 2023 Vermont Milk Quality Awards. The awards recognize the dairy farmers who produced Vermont's best quality milk in 2023. The 3 award winners were part of 54 Vermont dairy farmers who achieved the standards necessary to be nominated. The 2023 High Quality Milk Awards were presented to, in third place, Mark and Susan Rushton of Grafton. Essex Farm LLC of Virgins was named in second place, and the first place awards went to Howmars Farm of Franklin, Vermont. Congratulations to those winners. The focus of our main story this afternoon is on farm safety, health, and wellness. Last summer, Across the Fence's Keith Silva attended a workshop where educators, farm managers, and extension professionals from around the U.S. came together in Burlington to find the right tools for the job and the safest way to tote those buckets, bags, and bales. Here's Keith.
Farming consistently ranks as one of the world's most dangerous professions. And although accidents and tragedies get top billing, it's the day-to-day grind that takes the greatest toll on farmers and agricultural workers.
Farm work is really hard. It's long hours in stressful situations. You don't have control of the elements. You don't get to control when and where things happen. So it takes a toll on people's body.
Thanks to a grant from the USDA Beginning Farmer and Rancher Development Program, Holtzman has brought together health and safety professionals from the AgriSafe Network, a nonprofit based in Indiana, to educate farmers, managers, and farm workers about preventative services for farm families and the agricultural community.
How many of you guys stretch before you go to work in the morning?
The workshop consisted of lectures about wellness and well-being and hands-on demonstrations to help participants learn how to get a good grip on everyday tasks around the farm.
Oh my God! Considering that I'm a new farmer, there were a lot of practical things that I learned about usage of tools and about the ergonomics of using certain tools.
This one, it's much harder to adjust.
Rachel Stevader leads UVM's Farmer Training Program.
Students coming into our program, they're often coming from different careers where they have not used their bodies as much as you do in farming. So there's definitely a physical learning curve in remembering that you've got certain muscles in your body, and yeah, it takes time to build strength and to build stamina in doing a kind of work that's really physical.
I did a TV segment once where I said even a handle could help.
Aaron Yoder works at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. One of the topics he's here to teach participants is ergonomics. In other words, how to find the right tool for the job.
What works for one person may not work for someone else. We're all built a little differently and a little unique. We know different body types. Some have stronger legs, some have stronger arms. So finding what's the least uncomfortable for you is normally a good guide of what's best for your body. The closer to the body we keep the weight, the better. So oftentimes adding extra handles, bigger handles, better grip. I like using gloves a lot because gloves help that grip. So finding the right tools that fit your body, fit the task you're doing, can take a little bit of time, but you save way more time by using that tool than you do seeking it out and finding one. So the main goal is to reduce the number of injuries and illnesses out in the workplace, specifically agricultural workplaces. So we oftentimes think of the acute injuries or the severe injuries, you lose a hand, you lose a finger, those type of things, or traumatic injuries. But it's those cumulative injuries that happen over time, like musculoskeletal injuries, repetitive stress injuries, things that diminish our quality of life. When we do the lifting, we want to keep it as close to our body. I set it up on top of the bale so I didn't have to pick it up off the ground.
Yoder stresses how repetitive workload, such as lifting buckets, bags, and bales, are little tasks that impact health and wellness in a big way.
It's easy to stretch and strain our bodies and damage our bodies, and a lot of those injuries, whether it's a tear in a muscle or a tendon injury, oftentimes don't heal 100%. So the more times we do that to ourselves, it's kind of cumulative. So figuring out how to keep those weights close to our body, so we're using those physics, using the lever arms, keeping it close to our body, not extending out too far. If it can be on a surface that's up higher, not twisting and turning.
This advice resonates with Ring.
Oh, I think that's a major takeaway. You're lifting bales of hay or you're lifting crates, and you do that a couple of times, that's one thing. But when you then need to do it for 3 or 4 hours in a row, you know, figuring out the best way to do it is really important for saving you for the next day and the next day and the next month.
If we think about ergonomics, what we want to do is keep our body in the most natural position.
Yoder believes that by making small adjustments to the quantity of tasks a farmer performs day in and day out will improve their quality of life.
Some people may have done the same unsafe behavior a long time and never got caught. So we call those the lucky ones versus the unlucky ones. So I would say the biggest thing we do is improve people's quality of life. They like going to work, they enjoy it.
Steve Ader knows friends who have had to leave farming because their bodies were worn out from tedious tasks like farm chores.
I've definitely seen friends who have worked themselves really hard in their 20s and have developed injuries that have often gotten worse over time. And yeah, some of them who have had to transition out of farming just because they've wrecked their bodies in the process. So yeah, being mindful of your body within this work is really important.
When you grasp something, your thumb should overlap your finger about 3/8 of an inch.
Linda Emanuel is a registered nurse. Her advice to farmers is simple. Listen to your body.
I like the maxim to think about stop, think, act. Your body is the best signal that you have, and so if it's telling you that there's something wrong or something's not right, to pay attention to that. And I always say to work smarter, not harder.
Now these for me are really heavy. I can feel already it's a strain on my wrist, so probably not the best choice for me, but for some males, holy moly. I'm having to use a whole lot of muscle strength, and when I'm doing that, I'm automatically, because it's taken me some training, but to engage that core, you have to hold.
Emanuel advises farm managers to treat men and women differently according to their individual needs.
Think about ergonomics and a healthy body and using your body as that tool, and have a wide variety of tools available to you. We know that especially when it comes to body structure, males and females are made differently, physically different. Reproductive health is a major part of what we talk about, especially with women working in agriculture. And then the menopausal female is, different. Our body changes over time, and so it's part of that. I feel is for farm managers is to be aware of what females need and how their body changes, whether they're pregnant or non-pregnant, and really listening to them. And farm managers are going to have to be the advocates as well for health. And if they don't have a healthy worker makes for a happier farm. So it's being very mindful of what those female needs are.
Holtzman tells managers that health and safety matters as much to employees as rate of pay when it comes to hiring and retention.
We did interviews with employees who told us more than the pay, when their farm employer considered the impact of their decisions on the working conditions, on what it felt like to be an employee there, in terms of physical comfort as well as how they felt in terms of being part of a community. They told us that mattered a lot in where they chose to work.
We see this as a critical part of labor management. Keeping our employees safe. We know it's hard to find employees. How can we protect the employees we have, keep them healthy, keep them happy, and in turn that makes them more productive. Somebody that has aches and pains on the job aren't going to be producing as well as somebody that's healthier and in better shape. Thinking about how that person's interacting with everything they do all day long, then that plays in the role of the health and the safety of the person by looking at all those different aspects of it. When you want to lift or transfer stuff, you really should move to the side of the shovel a little.
Okay.
Given the physical nature of farm work, the experts at this workshop suggest farm workers should be thought of and treated like finely tuned athletes.
Fireworks in your neck.
we don't think about taking care of our bodies the same way an athlete does, and we really should. The warm-ups, the stretching, even the cool-down stretches that we've always done.
To take it another step is to turn your fingers back towards you, and just maybe that will cause a stretch.
Working smarter, not harder, and that can mean taking short breaks to stretch. It can mean making sure you're hydrated, getting off to the right start at the beginning of the day by warming up, actually getting off to the right start for the season by maybe doing some strength training and some preparation, by getting enough sleep, by having good nutrition.
I can't expect everybody to think like I do and to consider every possible option and to be healthy all the time. I hope the trend is so that people understand just how valuable they are to agriculture and to keep themselves healthy.
Again, back to those ergonomic concepts.
Staying happy and healthy and remembering to stretch. It's all in a day's work for
Left hand
farmers.
into the palm of your right.
In Burlington, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
You can give yourself a hug. That's also an option. And then
Thanks, Keith. For more information about cultivating a safe, healthy, and productive crew, email Beth Holtzman about the upcoming workshops and online resources. That's our program for today. My thanks to the crew behind the scenes. I'm Jolie Whitney. Have a good one.